G'day everybody, welcome back to Paddlecast. My guest today, I'm just laughing at myself. I wrote a note here that says 2 minutes on it. I was going to try and keep today's intro to 2 minutes in length. We both know that's not going to happen. My guest today is a fascinating paddler, a really interesting guy and someone I had a pleasure chatting with for over an hour. He's an Olympic athlete, he's an Olympic coach, he's an all-round badass with a paddle in his hand. No matter whether he's on one knee in a sprint canoe or on 2 feet on a stand-up paddleboard, this dude is fast. His name is Andrey Kraytor, and I kind of wish I could speak Russian just because his name sounds even cooler with a Russian accent. Anyway, Andrey's a really interesting guy. He's represented 3 different nations at the highest level, including for Russia at the 2016 Olympics in Rio, where he qualified for the final and was in with a real shot at a medal. And I'm not going to spoil the race. I'll let you watch it because we actually watch it here on the show today. But it was fascinating because Andrey told us the story of basically training for 15 years leading up to that one 40-second race and all the highs and the lows and the pressure and the drama and some of the politics that goes on behind the scenes. There's a reason why he's represented 3 different nations. You'll find that out on the show. Anyway, I had a great time chatting with Andrey. He's a really good guy, and he was very open and honest about the realities of his sport and just being an Olympic athlete in general. Andrey is also, he's also a Club Sup Racer member. So thank you for joining, buddy. I really appreciate that. But Andrey's also a coach now for the Chinese women's national sprint canoe team. He lives over there in China. I was speaking to him today from China, which kind of explains some of the internet hiccups that we worked our way through, but we got there in the end. We also get to watch a lot of races, a lot of canoe races. We had 6 or 7 different races lined up. So if you're watching the YouTube version, or if you're not watching the YouTube version, get on YouTube because this is a very visual episode. And I got to tell you, every time I see these canoe races, I become more and more of a fan. When I chat with these canoe boys, we've had Tommy Boudet, Larry Kane, Jimmy Terrell's coming up, and now Andrey. That's 4 different sprint canoeists who are all in the Olympics. And when I hear their stories and watch their races, I genuinely become more and more of a fan of this sport. I think we could learn a lot from sprint canoe. For one, there's a huge untapped potential field of athletes that could jump over from sprint canoe to stand-up paddling. But 2, I think we could learn a lot from how they run their races, their broadcasts, all that kind of thing, but especially how they get their juniors through the clubs into the sport. There's just thousands of junior canoe paddlers around the world, especially over there in Europe. There's nowhere near as many in stand-up paddling, so I think that's something we could definitely learn from. Anyway, I had a great time chatting with Andrey. I hope you enjoy today's show. I hope you're enjoying all these Paddlecast episodes. Being off air for a few days, there's a pretty good reason. For one, I decided that maybe the daily quarantine editions of the podcast could ease back now that the restrictions are being eased back, and also just for my own personal sanity and the realization that nobody needs to hear my voice for an hour every single day of the year. So I'll probably do 4 or 5 of these a week. I also want to do more of those story time with Sup Racer, kind of Shakespearean monologues, just to tell some stories about the old days. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying these shows. If you are, and you'd like to support them, you can jump onto Club Sup Racer. It's a special members-only club. You can pledge a few bucks a week on Patreon and just support what I do. Go to supracer.com/club for all the details. I'd like to give a special thank you to one particular Club Sup Racer member in each of these intros. I'm calling them the patron saints of Sup Racer. Today's patron saint is James Casey, a familiar name in the community. And I was a little surprised when I saw him sign up because I wasn't sure if any of the elite athletes, if Club Sup Race would be something that would even be on their radar. But I shouldn't have been surprised for even more than a second because I realized who I was talking about is James Casey. He is the most selfless. Is that a word? Most selfless? Is that a term? Least selfish? I don't know. He's a very selfless guy. He gives a lot to the community. He's raised tens of thousands of dollars for charities. The guy is an absolute legend, apart from being a legend on the water. He's the reigning Molokai Tuahu champion. But off the water, this guy is a pillar of the community. I have the utmost respect for Jimmy, and it was a real honor when I saw that he'd signed up to support me through Club Sup Racer. So firstly, Jimmy, thank you for joining Club Sup Racer, but much more than that, thank you for everything you do for the community. It certainly does not go unnoticed. You've had a huge impact, and keep doing what you do, buddy. Anyway, I'm going to stop it there. I said 2 minutes. We ended up at just over 4. I'll take that. Here he is, my guest today, Andrey Kraytor. How do you actually pronounce your last name?
Kraytor.
Andrey Kraytor.
Andrey
Kraytor. Andrey, welcome to the show, buddy. It's a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for your patience sorting out the tech difficulties.
I'm super happy.
How's things? Have you been coaching for like 12 hours today already?
Yeah. 6:30 wake up, first session, second session 10 o'clock, and 4 o'clock afternoon, third session.
Damn. So you're just training future gold medalists over there. Is China going to
For sure.
sweep the podium
Just
next
the
year?
gold medals. Just the gold medals. The Chinese, they doesn't have silver or bronze medal. You know, when we have a meeting and when we really speak about like the forecast for the Olympic Games, and the coaches say, okay, we are like expecting 2 gold and 2 silver medals. And the leaders say, okay, so you have to make priority, and from these 2 silver, you have to make the 3rd gold medal. We don't need silver medal.
Really? They don't care.
Yes, they don't care. And you know, it's not just in China. In all of this big country, I'm really been in 3 different national team: Ukraine, Azerbaijan, and Russia. So in Russia is the same. It's like when you sit in with the president of the federation after the season, and you have around 10, 15 medals from the world championship in the team, you know, and he is like just on the table, you have some 5 gold and maybe 7, 8 bronze medal, and he just like take to decide this bronze medal, and okay, this is the medals, this is what we need. So in some
Wow.
country, the bronze medal is the shame, actually. Yeah, that's really crazy. That's crazy. And for some small European country, you know, you can be in the final, for example, in the world championship, and you can back to the home like the hero. But in this country, with some empire mentality, like China, like Russia, really just the gold medal, because we say the sport is out of politics, but in this country you can understand this is the biggest politics, and this is the biggest war actually continue, and this is where they fight, this kind of country.
Wow. That must be intense. That must be a bit of pressure for your job.
A lot of pressure.
So who are you actually preparing? You're coaching the women's national sprint canoe team for China?
So yes, my role here, I'm the technical coach for the women canoe sprint team. Yes, because we have like the head coach, the guy who is make the plan, do the all methodics for the training. We have the strength condition coaches. They are also from the US, from Australia, from all around the world. Actually, the best guys in this some specific work, and everyone is responsible for his own thing. So I'm responsible for the techniques. I also can share some my drills, some my secrets about the sprint. But I don't make the plan for the training. Just during the specific preparation, I have like 3 days in the week to do my training, what I really suggest, and they prove or not. So
Wow.
yes, and I'm do video analyzing with them, and yeah, that's my work.
How's your Chinese going? Are you picking up the language?
Really, actually, yes. Actually, a little bit, yes. Not just because I'm learn, just because during the 1.5 year you will speak something, at least this kind of the vocabulary, like okay, longer power, hips, shoulders, all the like technical part. Yes, we really know, because the good thing is we have like interpreter, you know, is not really translator. Interpreter is the guy who really transfer your emotions. So when I'm like pissed off of them, when I really screaming, he is screaming on them. When I say like, okay, that's the good, like you know, push them in a good way, he is also transfer this to Chinese. So that's actually really important, because for sure they think in absolutely different, the mentality and the way how they think and the way how to explain to them what to do is absolutely different compared to the Western people.
Wow. Do the women you're coaching speak English, or is everything going through an interpreter?
They start to speak, and actually a few weeks ago, the team received the order from the Xi Jinping, from the president of the party of the China, that everyone should learn English every day 1 hour. And now they have at 7 o'clock, when we have some lecture, they have English lessons. All
Wow.
Chinese athletes. Yes, and they really learn fast. Really surprised because in a few weeks they really start to speak about windy, wavy. My back is hurts, my shoulders is hurts. So they really learn what they have to do, what they have to say, and yeah. But in this way, my English is getting much more simple. Like my English is simple at all, but with them is going to like, okay, me, you, come here, there, go strong, bad, like this, you know.
Is being a Chinese Olympic athlete the same as any other country, or is it next level? Is it more intense in China?
More intense. Look, for example, what I also found here, first of all, the Chinese athletes is the most athletic athletes I ever seen. That's for sure. They are able to training 355 days in the year. So we have just the 12 days like vacation between the season, and they are really able to do it 24 hours. I never saw that before. For example, if we take Russia and a lot of European country, even some country in the America, both of America, a lot of coaches there is from the post-communistic country like Romania, Hungary, and all of these countries have their own periodization of training. Like periodization in Russia and in a lot of countries in Europe, it looks like, okay, you work 24 days, 21 or 24 days, and you have 6 days is like off. It means not off, you like go down maybe one session per day, and then you come back for the another block. And you have these microcycles, you have the mesocycles, but here we don't have this. We just work from 1st October until the 20 of September, you know,
Wow.
yeah.
So what do you think? Are you getting some gold medals next year in Tokyo?
Yes, for sure. We have, for example, three last World Championship in the Saget. We picked up the 4 gold medals. In the 3 of them is in the Olympic discipline, and 2 of these gold medal with the world best time. And really, like
Wow.
the men's C2 1,000 meters won a lot with the best time ever, and the women's C2 also won with the best time ever, like one boat. So these guys,
Wow.
if we have Olympic Games this season, absolutely,
If
it's just yes. If
is it
it's
going to
just
happen? Do you
actually.
know anything that we don't know?
Oof. 2020, no, 2020 is for
2021.
sure, yes, cancelled.
2021.
2021, yes, okay. I've heard some conversations that the Japanese, they really start to speak about if the world doesn't produce the vaccine until the new year, so there is the big chance to cancel the Olympic Games at all. And you know what? In this way, when they start to speak about maybe we will postpone Olympic Games, it's happened. It's happened.
Yeah.
When they start to, when at least, okay, if it's not the real, but if this conversation is appears somewhere somehow, so probably somebody start to speak about that, and maybe one of the way. So really, I don't know. Now is everything is changing so fast. So
Yeah, man. It's crazy times. So you got a 1 year
crazy
extension on your contract, I'm guessing. You were going to go home in a
yes,
couple of months, yeah?
yes. No, we know because so we actually had also the big meeting about that, what to do with the season, because we've done like really great job in Portugal. We spent 5 months in Portugal before we came here, and we reached really good level of the athletes, really good performance. And we don't have the Olympic Games, we don't have the World Cups, we don't have any competition. We don't have a lot of competition in our sport. Our sport is the cyclical sport. We have originally 2-3 peaks in the season. Like the start of the season is the World Cups. It's not maybe it's 90% of your performance, and then you go up for the 100% of your performance to the World Championship. And now we don't have this competition, but all of the coaches that they are like for sure say, but we have to keep. We cannot stop. The cycle. We cannot just stop training. we have to keep the methodics, we have to keep the plan, maybe not in that hard intensity like we would do if we have these Olympic Games or some World Cups, but we have to finish the season. We will do our own competition here in the same date when supposed to be Olympic Games.
Yeah.
And after that we will have the 2 weeks
12-day holiday.
12-day holidays, yeah.
Wow. What's more intense for you, being a coach or when you were an athlete?
So when I'm be a coach is much more challenging and much more responsible, because when I'm athletes, so look, what I carry is just to go on the training, to be ready for training, and the rest of the time I go rest or sometimes somewhere. Now all this time we also busy, we also thinking, we make some decision, we believe in this decision, we were not sure if it will work for these athletes or not, so this is like much more interesting, but it's slowly it's coming more and more, because okay, I really had the lucky to work with the best coaches when I was the athletes. So I'm originally Ukrainian. My first coach was my father, and he is really the best, the kids coach. And the kids coach is actually the totally different casta, that's not that coach who can bring any athletes to the high level. The kids coach is really teacher. He should understand like why you don't want to come on the training or this and that. On this level, we know that we have to do this. We don't need to push us, because we make this decision. So when I finished school, I moved to Azerbaijan, and I was competing for the Azerbaijan. And actually, I'm listening to your chat with the Thomas Budai, and he mentioned about the Ukrainian C2, Azerbaijani Ukrainian C2, and actually that guy from the C2 is the athlete of my father. So I really knew about the Thomas Budai.
It's a small world.
Yes, exactly. It's the small world, because I was really grew up on his video, because I was watching my guy in C2, and they were competing all the time against each other. And when I actually start to learn stand-up paddle, I started to look in video in the YouTube, and I found some video from the SIC when the Tommy explained the techniques in the soup. And it's like, oh my God, that's crazy. So about Azerbaijan, and in Azerbaijan, so this guy, he's invited me there for this team, because in 2010 was the first Junior Olympic Games in Singapore, and 2009 was selection for these games. Azerbaijan was start to develop the canoe, and they invite me there. And there was the coach, this is Soviet Union coach, he's originally from Ukraine. Yeah, that's actually from training camp in Turkey. Yeah, some sprints.
You're surfing those things, man.
Yes. Yeah, because that's really 2017 maybe this, and I was really more playing, more having fun in my sport. After Rio, the 200 meters is not Olympic anymore, and it was really hard to push myself so hard in the canoe to training as I do it before Olympic, with the Olympic goal in front.
So when you've represented 3 different countries, and now you're coaching in a 4th different country, so you've been around this sport. This sport has been your life since. When did you start paddling? How old were you?
So my first competition was 2001 in the Kiev. It was international. Actually, in that time, it was big international event with the Germany, Belarus, Moldova, some was 6-7 country. I'm 1992. I were competing for 1990. So I was the cadet. I was like 2 years younger than the juniors was in that time, and I took the bronze. That was my first competition, and
so you were like 9 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like my father. He was the coach. But he don't push me to paddle. I was playing soccer. I was doing everything. Like actually, always said to me, like, Andrey, you are everywhere and nowhere, because I was 1 month there, 1 month in another place. For the summer, of course, it's training based, because summer swimming is always fun. But never when autumn is coming, when this long distance running, when the gym is come, because the water is closed, I always escape from the canoe.
What was what was it like qualifying for the Olympics? Like, what was that intensity? How long did it take you?
So I have 2 Olympic cycle. I've been at just 1 Olympic Games, but my first cycle was in 2012 before London. So that was the 4 years in Azerbaijan. And
So were you competing for Azerbaijan?
Yes, I were competing from 2009 until 2012 for Azerbaijan.
Where is Azerbaijan?
Azerbaijan is maybe. Okay, it's close.
I'm going to show everyone on the map.
Yeah, this is near the Caspian Sea. So this is still Europe, but it's almost in the Caucasus Mountain, and it's close to Iran, Islamic Republic of Iran, Georgia, Armenia. Yeah.
Is it a big canoe culture there? Like, how did you end up in Azerbaijan? What was the story?
So the story is that Azerbaijan. It's the rich country, small rich country with the oil. Mm-hmm. And Azerbaijan, they were in the game to host Olympic Games, actually, and they were in the top. They were on the stage where it was just the 5 country.
Yeah, right.
In the moment when the country is passing to this level to host the Olympic Games, they should have all facilities for the all Olympic sport, and they start to develop the all sport what they doesn't have at the moment. So canoe kayak is the one of the sport. It was the really huge training center for the Soviet Union team. Was the really old facility, but it's the good lake. Is really big lake and river there. Actually, not on this side where is the Caspian Sea, close to the Georgia. Close to the Georgia, you can see, Mingir, you see? Yes. So from this lake is going the river. So Mingicevir is exactly the city where we lived and where we trained, and where was the European Games, in Baku 2014. Was the European Games. It's the same like Pan American Games, like Asian Games, and they built the new training center for the Olympic with the Olympic standards, and they start to invite the athletes from all around the world just to start to represent Azerbaijan flag on the international level. And that's how we went there. We were like 6 guys from Ukraine.
Yeah.
And yeah. And
it's a modern country, huh?
Yes, Baku is like new Dubai. Baku is the capital, is amazing city, actually, near the sea. Super. Okay, you have old part and you have like the new part. You see, this is the flame tower. This 3 tower is the proud of the country.
Yeah, right. How long were you in Azerbaijan?
4 seasons. So it's 3 years, but 4 seasons. So I was finishing school, and they invite me for to see me what I can, how I can do the sport. I came for the 1 month with my father in that time. It was some local competition. I won the 3 race, 1,500, 200, and they said to me, okay, if you want, you can stay training for us. Next year we have the selection for the Junior Olympic Games 2010, which at the Junior World Championship. And if you want, you can stay. And in that time, yes, I made decision to be in the sport, because when I was in the school, I was normal studying. I was not on the training camps all the time, so I was really normal. Study full time on the school and doing sport during the season. And I was study actually good. My mom was like, okay, you have to study all the story. And the father, he never pushed me like, okay, do sport or do what you want to do. In the one moment, I just came to him and I said, okay, because I took the bronze at the Ukrainian ship, and I'm really training not too much. And I said to him, oh, I want to win, really, I want to win. And he said, okay, if you want to win, we have to really training more. And I said, okay, no problem. And he said, okay, so next morning, 6 before school, we are wake up and we go into paddle. Okay, but I lived really close to the river and to our base, because I'm from the small town. It's 3,000 population, so it's really small. And I'm start to train. That's one of the actually. Oh, this guy, he is also Ukrainian, and and we were together in Azerbaijan, and just because of his actually results, I wasn't at London Olympic Games.
Oh yeah, he stole your spot.
Yeah, you know the story. Like, okay, any Olympic Games, you have 9 lines in the final, and behind these 9 lines is always some drama. Believe me, it's always some drama. But we know just about the happy end of the story, when the guy took the medal or win the Olympic Games. Now after that we have some movie or some really amazing story, but we didn't know.
So what's the drama? What's the drama behind the scenes here?
So okay, for London Olympic Games, I'm just finished junior, so I was 18 years old. And this guy, he was already 3-time world champion at C1 200 meters. He is Ukrainian, and we were both in Azerbaijan, he and me. And I was the junior, he was the senior, and we have the C2. And actually, all of us took the medals at the world championship. So we really we were really the super successful team. And 2012 spring, we have the local competition, local selection, Azerbaijan, for the World Cups. At the World Cups, the country can represent 2 athletes. That's only one competition when the country can represent 2 athletes. And I won this first selection in the Azerbaijan. But I was 18 years old. He was at the moment 27 or something. And the president of the Azerbaijan Federation, he said, okay, guys, this is local competition. Let's go to the World Cups. And we have 2 World Cups. Who will won each, like, okay, you have 2 World Cups. Who will be first? That guy will go to the Olympic Games. And I won both of the World Cups. Actually, that was really maybe one of my best shape in that during all my career. And also just because I was really young and I didn't understand my performance, and that I really in the front of the all. And I won the first World Cup and I won the second World Cup. So this was Poznan, 2012, Poland and Moscow. And after that, we had another meeting with the president, and this guy, he said, this guy, he's young, he don't have experience. And I promise you, he said to the president in his face, I promise you, I will win Olympic gold medal. And he said, no, you pay me salary, and I promise you, I will win the world champion in 2011. If I'm lose, I give you all money back. And he said, okay, deal. Okay, you have to understand, this is Azerbaijan, it's Muslim country, is also different mentality, and this like conversation, it's just conversation between 2 men. And he won the world champion in 2011. So means he said, I will win Olympic world champion, and he won world champion. And after 1 year happens the same, and he said, I will win Olympic Games. And he said, yes, I believe you, because one time you told me and you made it. So, okay, Andrey, sorry, but you really have experience, or you don't have experience. So that's all. And I say, I'm leaving the country, and I went back to Ukraine. And after 3 months of vacation, I will start to looking for the new country. And actually, I just decided to go Russia, because that's the strongest sprint championship in the all around the world, for sure. It's the best sprint athletes there, and there's good coaches there. And I'm just called to the one famous coach of the Maxim Opalev, actually big legend in our sport. And I said, I'm free, and I want to compete for Russia, what we can do. And he said, okay, let's try to do it. And that's how I moved to Russia in the winter after Olympic Games.
Was it satisfying?
2012.
Was this race here satisfying because you beat that guy in the final?
Yes, I beat him. I beat him a lot of time actually, and that's the European Championship. Few months before Rio Olympic Games. That's really good race. And after 20 minutes, I took the bronze in C2 200 meters also.
What's it? How do you actually paddle one of these things? Because they have no fin, right? There's no rudder. They're extremely unstable.
So the shape of the boat is like have lines, have lines on the bottom, have really lines, and okay, we do the J stroke in the end, and we also help when we catch the stroke, just to bring your nose. But actually on the, it's like to the ride bicycle. When you start to ride bicycle, you first 1 month, 2 months, you fall down all the time, and after some experience, you really learn how to do that. The same in the boat, and on the high speed.
Your hip is over the edge of the boat.
Really, yeah.
How wide? What's the width? What's the width of that boat you're in right there?
Around 32, 35 centimeters.
Wow. So what's that, like 12, 14 inches?
Yeah, yes.
That is crazy. 14 inches, no fin. And it's what, like 16 feet long, 17 foot long?
5 meters, 20 centimeters. That's the standard. Before 2000, I think 16, it was 16 kilogram. Now they cut to 14 kilogram.
Yeah.
And actually some of few of the world best time were broken after they cut 2 kilogram.
Really?
Yeah, we don't have world records like in track and field. We have official world best time, because it's always a matter of the condition, how deep is the water, how temperature of the water, how the wind. Yeah, so it's like open sport, and we don't have world record. We have official world best time. Is quite different, because in the summer, for example, when the water is warmer, it's much more easy to reach the higher speed, to the best speed, and all world best time were made it, for example, in Plovdiv, Bulgaria. Is really nice regatta course to make the world best time, because the competition in July is like around 30 degrees there, and the water is super hot, and to make the world best time on the hot water is good. On the cold water is much more harder to speed up.
Wow. What's the we're going to line up another race here, under 23, 200 meters, Montemoro. What's this one?
Montemoro. Yeah, actually, take a look here. This guy was second, and now this Henrikas Zustaukas from Lithuania. My generation is like my junior, 1992, 93 is my generation. We were going from the junior to under 23 and to senior. So like was really a strong guy in this my generation, and we were fighting all the time. And here is I'm lost actually 12. How to say 0.012 thousand of seconds.
Wow. So nothing.
Yeah, so so if you see now, I'm the first. He with the yellow nose of the ball, he's second, and I made this jump in the end of the finish, in the end of the race, and the first they announced that I won the race, and just after 20 minutes of the photo finish, when we came to the medal ceremony, they put me on the second place.
No.
Yeah, look here.
Oh. Man, he did a good jump at the end there.
Yeah, but look, that's I'm here screaming like who, me or him, because we were always fighting. And the thing, you see the line on the pictures, but we don't see the line on the race. So we have the last buoy, which is red buoy, and we have like space. We don't know where is the finish. So what normally I'm do before the race, I go to the race course. And I'm go on the speed from the last buoy, and I'm try to count how many strokes from the last buoy I have to do to cross the finish line. Like my coach stay on the finish line, on the shore, taking a video, and I do few attempts to find the perfect moment to do this jump, because I knew that, for example, for the last 5 years, when the 200 became to Olympic, the difference is all the races finish in the half second.
Oh,
You
look
see?
at that.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite parts about this sport is the lunge at the finish where you push the boat over. That's so cool. We need to see more of that in SUP, I think. This is a very cool technique.
Yes.
What's the rules? You have to stay in your boat?
There's just the body should cross the finish line.
And then you can fall out.
Body should... Yes.
And a lot of races are decided by how much you can push your boat over the end, right?
You have to really train in this. You have to really train in this, and it's came and it will come in the SUP, I'm sure, when the really will be close fight, between the all athletes. Because, for example, 10 years ago, the first 3 plays were always fighting, and the 4th, 5th, 2nd, 6th was really behind these top 3.
Yeah.
Now, when on the top level is like 5, 6 both fighting, and even after the finish, you don't know, like you are 3rd or you are 6th. Everyone is training this and try to do this.
Wow.
So I'm won once time silver. So I was basically on the finish 4th, and I won the silver with this jump. Lost with this jump, and actually one time I'm lost at the European Games for the bronze. So I've been 4th. So actually I have 2 races without medal. Is the European Games and the Olympic Games, which is most important. Events actually in the whole career. But I'm lost the medals in these 2 events.
Tell us about the C2. How different is it when you've got someone else in the boat with you? Because I was chatting with Tommy
C2.
and Larry, and they said it's like a whole different mindset because you have to synchronize yourself, right?
Yes. C2 is art, really, and I love C2. It's really pity that we don't have like 500 meters at Olympic Games. That was the most dynamic and impressive race for me, for example. And C2, you with your partner should be so to feel each other, to go really fast and to go straight and to put the same power in the stroke, because if you will push little bit more, you will get tired before him.
Yeah.
And in the end of the race, you will just feel how the boat is just going like in the sense, like it's not gliding, because you don't have the equal power from the both sides. So that's really how the Russians coaches say, like sometimes 2 of the guys they are walking somewhere and they don't know they're perfect C2. It's just you have to try, and normally from the beginning you can understand if it can be good or not, because this is like we have different techniques, of course. We have different techniques, and you can see this different in the air, but still it's just more important the moment when the blade is touch the water till the moment when the blade is exit from the water. And if you do it together, if you feel each other, this can be the really good C2.
What's with the fashion? What's with the fashion in sprint canoe? You guys are wearing tights. There's no board shorts in sprint canoe.
Yes, yeah, actually one American guy, he was competing in the basketball shorts, even much more bigger than the board shorts.
Yeah,
I think it's of the wind. How to say, of the not the air dynamic. Yeah, maybe like if it's the headwind and you have something like parachute, for sure it will cut seconds.
Yeah,
but cases during some World Cups when it's tailwind, really strong tailwind, people put something bigger to have a small parachute, because for the 1,000 meters it can play 1 second, for example. Yeah.
Wow. So it's basically like cycling. You guys look like cyclists.
Yeah, but I were training always in the board shorts.
Yeah. You like the beach fashion?
Yeah, because no, actually no, because in my whole brain, these things is, like guys from the street don't understand this.
What speed you guys going here? What's the this is the 200
25
meters.
kilometers per hour. 25 kilometers per hour.
So you're going like 60, 70% faster than on a stand-up paddleboard.
Yeah. In the C1, the top speed for the 200 meters is around 20. It can be 21 during the race. In the middle of the race, on the finish is 19.5. So for example, in Tsingtao, I'm reached the 15.7, and I finished with the 15.3. So probably Connor, I believe he had like 16 and something kilometers per hour.
Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on the crossover between canoe and sup, because that was fascinating in Qingdao. But there's a couple more videos I want to go through first. We're gonna save the big one for last, the Olympics. But this is not one you sent me, but I found this and I was fascinated by it because I didn't even know it existed. What the hell is C4? This is amazing.
C4,
this is batshit crazy.
Oh yeah, C4. It's also, unfortunately, we don't have now a lot of race of C4. Just C4 500 meters.
Did you ever do this?
200. Yes, I compete all crew. Actually, I compete the C4 200 meters.
Look at those things.
World University Games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in 2013, and we won. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yes, C4 is like, it's good. It's good to C2. So the position in C4, like Tommy mentioned, the first guy is the guy who gives the amplitude and temp and rhythm. Second two is the gear, is the power, is the really should be strong guy. And the fourth guy, he really just the steering the boat, because the C4 is actually much more harder to steer than C2. And if the C4 goes to the side, it's really hard to keep it. You can find a lot of races where the C4 they lost the direction and go across to the lines. And we have the rules. You cannot go more than 3 meters left or right from the middle of the line.
Mexico's got a team in there. I've never seen Mexico in a canoe race.
Yes, they have one guy, world champion actually, and they have the guy, two-time Olympian. I mean, he was at Olympic Games. They have good women kayak now.
Yeah,
they catch the medal at Pan American Games in canoe kayak, so they are good. Yeah.
Why is it such an Eastern European dominated sport? Why is it that Ukraine, Russia, Hungary, of course Germany, but there's so many Eastern European nations on the podium?
Yeah.
Why
so for me, I will turn this question a little bit because when I was on the fuse, you see how the guy was trying to steer the boat. If some country ask or some city ask, okay, what do to develop the sport, canoe and kayak? And the right answer, build regatta course or to build some facilities. In all of this country, what you said is the all socialistic country, communistic and then socialistic country, where is the sport was the biggest politic. And in all of our country, we have a lot of facilities. In our country, from the past, we have a really good education about canoe kayak sport, which you don't have right now in another country. Actually, in Australia now have a good the sport institution. The Australian they really work and do the research about canoe and kayak. And in all of our country is just I believe is just the really how to say is historical happened just because of the communism and socialistic group country. And the country also Hungary and actually Bulgaria is really good in that time it's really small country. And what I found when I live in Russia, that Soviet Union, they help to some country like Bulgaria, for example, Cuba, the friendly country, to develop some different sports, just to take the medals from US, from USA. So,
Yeah.
for example, you have the Bulgarian weightlifting, really great. They have amazing history. And Soviet Union were helped with the coaches, with the scientists to the Bulgarian, just to promote and to develop this sport, to catch some silver, bronze, or even gold. To say cannot catch this medal. In the total rank, you understand, that was the main fight, the total rank of the medals.
So it was all politics.
Yes, for me, absolutely. And now is still because of the history. For me, that's why our country is really good.
So tell us about this race. We're up to the big one now. This was the last major race.
Yeah.
Was this the last major race of your career? Did you retire after this, or?
No, I have two more seasons, but not so good, because that was the final race when the 200 was Olympic race.
Yeah.
And after that, the race is not Olympian, and actually is all about politics again. When it's not Olympic distance, you don't have that salary what you have when it's Olympic distance. Even if you're world champion, you don't have the training camps that much that you have before. So just after this race is like just turn everything in the half, and motivation as well.
So tell us about the Olympics, because I was looking up the results. You actually qualified. You won your heat, and then you won your semifinal.
Yeah.
You're one of the fastest qualifiers
Yes.
for the final. That's why you're in the middle lane, right? You're in lane 6.
Yes.
So what was your feeling like going into this race?
So as I said, before this race is always you have some drama. I also had drama like inside of the country, and actually that's also one of the reasons why I'm here now, or not here, why I'm not in the Russia right now. So I had like some conflict with my federation, and I really were fighting to go there. I won the selection, and okay, it doesn't matter these details, but Olympic Games is such a different race compared to all of the World Championship, as I said, because it's the political event. And 1 month before Olympic Games, on your field appear maybe 10 or 20 some important guy in the suit from some region, from some ministry of the sport, and everyone start to tell you like, man, I help you in that time you even don't know, but you have to now to do, you have to make medal, you have to do this, you have to, and it's really big pressure, especially in the Russia, like country like in the Russia, and there's a big pressure. And I also had a big pressure before this Olympic Games. And if you see lane 6, 7 and 8, this is 3 Ukrainian guys.
Yeah.
Me,
that's your buddy from Azerbaijan.
Yes.
Yeah.
And lane 8 is the Ukrainian guy. And actually, lane 7 competing for Azerbaijan because of the lane 8 competing for Russia because of the lane 7. And what happened with me in this race is just because we were really close to each other with the Demyanenko, with the guy from Azerbaijan, and that's broke my idea of the race. We start to fight against each other. We just against each other. I really fought all the race, and it was like personal stuff and all the things. But actually, that's the first race. Before you get in the start machine is really like all the time before I never have the thought in my head that I can lost, really. Always I had like when I came to this start machine, I have, okay, that's my race, that's my distance, I love this, I will enjoy this as much as I can, and doesn't matter. That's always what I have, and it always works. And before this, it's something was different. Also of the pressure. It's Olympic Games, and I'm also changed my routine before the final day. So normally I'm doing like 2 days before final, we have the heats, semi-final. When I have the semi-final, I do semi-final. I do after this like 30 minutes easy paddling, and I go rest. Not stay in hotel, I go somewhere to the beach, or not to play volleyball, but just to hang out and to change the environment in the head. And next day we have Olympic Games, and this afternoon, which I supposed to be somewhere out, I just said to the coach, like, hey, let's go to the regatta course. I want to do like few short sprint. I want to do, because I know I have GPS, I know my speed, I know how it should be, and I was not I don't know, sure or something. Now I can speak about this because it's a long time has passed after that moment. But in that moment, I was not control myself. That's what I can say. And I said, okay, let's go. I need to see the speed once again. I need to see the speed on my GPS for tomorrow. And that was also a mistake, because I'm burn another energy this afternoon. And yeah, that's happened.
Wow.
But that's also, the Olympic champion, for sure. For me, Olympic champion is the karma, is destiny, really. Can you imagine this Ukrainian guy, Yuri Cheban? I will just tell you the story now. He doesn't select for the Olympic Games. He lost the quota. He doesn't have quota. When he came for the European qualification, he was ill and he couldn't compete, so he didn't compete. And in the end, so he was not on the Olympic list. In the end, Australia and Oceania doesn't have the C1 200 meter athletes, but they have this quota, and they give this quota to ICF, and ICF give this quota to the Yuri Cheban, to the guy.
Really? Wow.
But that's not the end. Listen more. You see, he is on the lane number 8. The lane number 8 means he got to final by the time. He were the third in the semi-final, and I know he's good. He is really good guy, and that's why I said that's the karma to be Olympic champion. He is absolutely amazing person, great guy. And after the semi-final, I spoke with him. And he telling to me man, you have all the chance, really, and because also he know my story, and he thought in that moment that he is not in the final, because he was it's 2 semifinals or 3 semifinals and some best time. And Martin Fuchs actually from Czech was, I don't know what changed, how it's changed. They announced after semifinals that Martin Fuchs, the last guy who goes to the final.
So he wasn't even in the final for a bit.
They said to him in the evening when he were drinking beer, really one glass of the beer in the lobby of the hotel, and they said to him, Yuri, you are in the final. And the guy just, without any pressure, go to sleep, wake up, lane 8, not in the middle. He got the quota I told you how. And he got to the final this way, and he won the Olympic Games. So that's the story.
That's a cool story. Look at the times there.
That's the amazing.
Less than 1 second between everybody.
Yes.
And that dude that's third,
for example,
he was the hometown hero, right?
Yes, machine. He won the 3 medals at the Rio. Isakias, yes.
So what happened?
That's also interesting. Yeah, sorry.
What happened after the Olympics?
I always say there's this story about Isakias. He is competing C1000, C2000, and C1200. This is really unique. We have now a few guys in the world who can compete 1,000 and 200 meters, because the sport starts to be so specific that not too many people can manage these 2 distance. And before. Just because the C1 and C2 is in the one day, and you have the heats and semi-finals. So his partner in C2 were doing warming up on the water with another guy, because this guy were competing C1, and he jumped in the C2 exactly before the race, and the guy his partner were doing warm up with another guy. So that's really unique also case, this guy and this Brazilian team.
Wow. So what happened? How did you go from being in the Olympics in 2016 to becoming a stand-up paddler?
Okay, I really I was trying to compete more 2 seasons. I was doing more easy, continue to go training camps, but as I said, it's not Olympic distance. But I was in the team. I was in the national team. I was competing some international Super Cup race and some another race. And in 2017, selection for the World Championship in Russia, and I was second, and only one spot have place to go to World Championship. So, and for the last maybe 7-8 years, that was my first time didn't make the national team to the World Championship. And I don't live in Russia. I don't have home in Russia. I was just in the team, training camps or some training base. And I'm just, okay, the June, and first time in my life I really free in the June, and I don't know what to do. And I'm just made the post in Instagram like, okay, this is my result. Guys, I really open for the any opportunities, like I'm free. And one guy from Crimea, he sent me a message. Hey man, here is the Russia. Russia is will go to the first time to the Denmark to ISA stand-up paddle world championship. You have to try. You have to try. And for me, that was the so big opportunity. More it's not about stand-up or something. It's just okay. I still can do this year international competition in the another national team. I can go to the world championship, and I'm just this guy called me. I didn't know him. He just followed me on Instagram, and he's from Crimea doing stand-up paddle, some rental, and he invited me. And after 3 days, I'm just I flew there. I came to Crimea. We took the hard board, go to the lake. I made 100 meters like the sprint. We checked my speed. My speed was fast. He said, "Oh, this is super fast. No one paddle in Russia like this." And that's how I'm starting to do stand-up paddle.
Well, fast forward a couple of years, and you ended up. We were over there in Qingdao together. I've actually got this race up on the final of the 200 meters. This was a good one. This was
yes, that was good one.
This was basically yeah. Did you think what kind of like how much of an advantage do you have coming from Olympic 200 meters going into this discipline against stand-up paddlers that are usually, you know, in the ocean or something? Like this is your event.
Advanced.
Like what kind of advantage do you think you had against guys like, you know, Connor Baxter and these guys because you do 200 meters? Hang on. You've done 200 meters your whole life. Was it a simple crossover?
Yes.
That's you on the screen, right? Just charging.
Yes. Yeah, nice.
This was a pretty exciting race to watch. I mean, for stand-up paddlers, like we're usually out in the waves or in the ocean, and everybody, when 200 meters came in, I remember everyone thought, oh, well, this is bullshit. This isn't real stand-up paddling. But this kind of event has really grown on me. Like, I really like this now. It's
that's dynamic and spectacular. That's interesting. That's race.
Yeah, it's quite exciting. And I remember when this finished, you told me, give me, what'd you say? You said, give me 12 months. I want to beat Connor Baxter's world record.
We were speaking 2 years, and it
2 years?
That's will be, yes. Maybe in 2021 we will able to compete.
Yes, Hungary 2021, the ICF Worlds.
Yes. About this race, what I want to say. First, we don't have here more two sprint legends, this Casper and Danny Ching. I compete. I never compete with Danny, but what I watched the race for sure. He is the top guy for sprint, and so it's not the full list of the best stand-up sprint like top athletes. And this fourth place for me was much more enough than could be, because after the Olympic Games in 2017 December, I made the surgery on my ICL. I had the replacement of ICL, so I didn't train in like 6 or 7 months at all. Like I was just recovery. So And that's why I also moved to China to start to be the coach, like to have some work because I need work, I need money like everyone. And I was not training really a lot, really. And if it's really good that I was first, not the third, not the 5 or 6, really close to the top, to the podium, really close to the podium, but I didn't reach the podium because I was not training enough. That's for sure. So that's the perfect.
So this was
result
good
for me
motivation
in
for
that.
you?
Yes, exactly, yes. I really, I made this time in the Moscow 49 second. I made this time, and so I made my time. I don't, I cannot say like, oh, I could better or something was wrong. No, everything was good. I made my 100% at this race, and that's my position, and it's good. It's enough for that time, because if from now, if some medals in the world championship, it's too easy.
You got to have something to work towards. Do you think you would have been faster if you actually had a board to paddle and didn't borrow 3 different boards in one day? Because every heat you
Yes,
did, you were on a
absolutely.
different board.
Absolutely, because the thing is uh, each each board have the different feeling of the floating and different, and when you use some boards, when you reach the peak, when you glide in, and in this moment you can do the longer stroke, or you can change something in your technique. So in the final, I didn't know how this board is really goes. I didn't know. I was just start and just doing without any idea of the race. But normally, and I have this idea, like I know that I'm reached the peak. For example, the peak of the speed is 70 meters after start until 130 meters. That's the peak of the speed. And if you slow down few strokes, I mean the pace, the speed still will go this on the just inertia. And then after 130 the speed is go down, and this is the time when you have to catch up to keep the speed, to maintain the speed. So here I don't have this. Yeah, that's
Was this the President's Cup in
that's
Russia?
also a good race. Yes, amazing event in the middle of the Moscow, super nice.
Was this a canoe kayak event and they included a sup race?
Yes, that's the one of the maybe second event of the Russian Canoe Federation, including the stand-up paddle race.
Who's that next to you? Is
And
that Evgeny?
Zhenya, yes, Zhenya, John, we call him John.
Oh, yeah.
He is actually ex-canoe guy. Yes, he is ex-canoe guy, so he is also know how to paddle. He were in the junior Russian team. He is good. He is training a lot. He is spent full time what he have for the stand-up paddling.
He was in the final with you in Qingdao, right?
Yes, he was 6.
Yeah.
I think he was 6.
What do you? What's the crossover? This is what I wanted to ask earlier. The crossover between C1 and SUP, because a lot of paddlers have crossed over, and some of them have been more successful than others. What can you take from sprint canoe to SUP, and what can't you take?
So the first, for the high level, most important is the idea of the training and methods of the training.
Yep.
Understanding of the, how to say, biomechanics of the stroke. Doesn't matter it's in canoe or it's in the SUP or it's dragon boat or it's surf ski or it's outrigger. It's really, you just understand the really, like from the science part, you understand what this stroke is include, when is the most powerful part, when is the weak part, how is you should put your body, how to act in when the boat or boat gliding. So I think this part is really give the big advance, and of course the functional and the strength condition of the athletes, because canoe is much more technical sport, and for example, so the high level of the sport is about data, all about the numbers. So I know that I spent during one season in canoe 3,000 kilometers per year. I know that I'm spent how many minutes in the dry land training I spent. So I know everything, and I can transfer this to the SUP and make some good training plan for me because I understand how much I have to spend for this, for that, for the aerobic, for the specific work, for the speed endurance, for the power. So that's I think is the big part.
So the training is a lot more. The training is just more established and more intense in canoe than SUP. You've just got more of an idea of what you're doing. So a lot of SUP athletes. Do you think SUP athletes could benefit if they actually went and trained with canoe paddlers? Like if they went the other way? Because a lot of canoe paddlers come to SUP. Do you think it would help if they went and just paddled in a C1 for a few weeks?
They can paddle, but it will be not so fast. I mean, really.
I mean, I don't think they'll be in the Olympics, but do you think it would help them with their SUP? Like just to learn a slightly different way of paddling and a way of training?
Yes, of course. But I believe that from the canoe to SUP is give you much more than you come from the SUP to canoe. And that's what I understand, like from my part.
Yeah. Did you get the Chinese women out there on the SUP one day a week just for fun? Or are they not allowed to have fun?
No, because they know when they have this one day, they just want to go to sleep and play games on the smartphone.
Yeah.
But actually, you saw the Chinese team, the junior, especially in the Tsingtao.
Yeah, they were pretty good, man. I think give the Chinese like 3 or 4 more years, they'll be on the podium at every big SUP race, especially the flat water events.
Yes.
Is the sport do you see much stand-up paddling over there?
No. So they create the team for this World Championship like 1 or 2 months before the World Championship. And they were training them, and after World Championship, this team...
Yeah?
Yes, so all of these guys, they are from Dragon Boat, from the canoe and kayak, and they back to the sport, but they don't continue to doing the stand-up paddling.
Yeah, right.
When it will be official, for example, for the ICF, like this maybe when all of this CAS case will finish, and the ICF will say, okay, now with this, they will promote and develop sport here. They don't have, I don't know, the ISA, there's not ISA, the Chinese Surf Federation doesn't care probably about the stand-up paddling because they don't have a team. Also, the people who were competing at the ISA in Hainan also were from canoe and kayak.
Yeah.
That guys, because I really know them, yes.
So does it have to become an Olympic sport, or does it just have to become an official federation sport before that they'll commit some resources to it? Like if CAS made a decision and said, all right, ICF, you can like run a SUP program if you want, like officially, do you think the Chinese would start pouring some money into stand-up paddling?
Absolutely. Yes, for sure.
And do you think the world would have a chance after 3 or 4 years, or would China take over?
No, everyone will have, and actually the competitive part of the stand-up paddling will be much more bigger, because when the sport is Olympic, and that's what we speak, that's the for a lot of countries, politics. Okay, is the one of the tool of this global politic games. For example, sport will be official. Russia will put also so much money and so much for the stand-up paddling also. And for example, some country like Turkey also, they are really, is not so really famous Olympic, I mean in the sport country, but in the some sports they're really good. It's also a huge country, and they have also a lot of water, and this they have a lot of, actually now the training base, the one of the winter training base in Turkey. And when the sport will be Olympics, it depends on the national federation. And in our sport, we have really like 70, 80 really strong federation. And with the government money, that will moving forward for sure faster, and everyone will have chance. And that's will in the like look, 200 meters. It wasn't Olympic before 2012. That was the first at Olympic Games. They announced that 200 meters will be Olympic in 2009. Before 2009, no one were training 200 meters. The gap between first, second, third, and was half second, 1 second. Just in the 3 years when the distance became Olympic distance, okay, the science, the brains, all coaches, all technologies start to work. Okay, what we can do in this distance, how we can do. For example, when I were doing this, we took something from track and field. We took something from the swimming, because that's the two sports where really institutions work a lot in all of the country to develop the sport, to push the limits, to make some breakthrough. So for sure, build the sport.
Well, it's going to be exciting. Whatever happens, if the more countries that get involved, the one thing I took away from Qingdao was that there's so much potential for stand-up paddling that we haven't tapped yet, because we obviously started as an ocean sport, the Californians, the Hawaiians, the Australians,
yes,
the French, but we're just getting started with like the canoe kayak world, or the Hungarians getting into it, all the Ukrainians, Russians, and if China gets into it in a big way, oh my God, that'll be next level, especially in the flat water stuff. I think the ocean, you're always going to get the Hawaiians and the Australians dominating, like the downwind races and the surf races.
Absolutely.
But flat water, it's going to be exciting. We'll have like a whole new type of athlete. I think we saw it really when the Hasulio brothers came in, the Hungarian boys.
Yeah.
They kind of brought it was just a new approach to the sport. Like the way they trained, the way they raced, it was something we'd never seen before. And there's thousands of those guys paddling, canoes and kayaks in Hungary and Eastern Europe. There's good potential, huh?
Yes, absolutely agree with what you say.
So when you're done in China, where are you going back to? Where's home for you now? You've represented 3 countries. You're now living in China.
Yeah.
Where are you going to represent in the next next year in Hungary for the ICF SUP World Championships? Which team are you on? Have you chosen a team yet?
No, I think I will try to do it for Russia.
Yeah.
But actually, few months ago or maybe more, I just have some in my head that Pan American Games have the stand-up paddle at the games. And I think, maybe I was in Colombia for a few months. They invite me to be like some assistant coach for the Colombia national team in canoe, and they still invite me to work there. And I start to think, okay, I'm checked some of the Pan American country. They have good like Peru, Chile. They have really good like Itzel Delgado and some of the guys. They have good the racer. And I see, okay, the Colombia doesn't have some really good stand-up paddle racer. Maybe I can move to Colombia and compete at the Pan American Games for Colombia Super Race.
Well, actually, one of the American boys, I think, did that. Giorgio Gomez. He's from California, from Florida, but his father or something was Colombian. I'm not sure what the connection was, but I think he's competing for Colombia now. So, it's very interesting in the Olympic world when you see, like we always had in Australia in the Olympics, we always had Russian athletes. Like our pole vault champion that won gold in, I think, Sydney, she was Russian. And especially in the Winter Olympics, because we just don't have Winter Olympics. We're terrible at the Winter Olympics. We'd always have like Canadians or something that wanted to move to Australia, and we just put a stamp in their passport straight away and say, yeah, come on in. Is this common in the Olympic world that athletes change countries?
Yes, a lot. Okay, now is more strict rules how to change the sport nationality. So now it's much more difficult. You can do this just 2 years before Olympic Games, so you cannot move 1 year before Olympic Games. So before was the rule like you can move if you marriage just of some reason of the love. So now also you don't have this rule. So now it start to be much more strict, but it's trist and a lot because, for example, like we spoke about the Hungarian, is small country with the national sport canoe kayak in Hungary, and it's in our sport is little bit, for me, is the stupid system that just only one athlete can compete or one boat can compete at the world championship, and we don't have nothing commercial. And imagine you training 10 months, you preparing and you second, but your second place on your national championship is still can be the medal at the world championship. And you stay home, and you can stay home like 2, 3, 5 years, and sometimes you can stay home, be second number in your for all the life. And we don't have like Euro Tour, we don't have any tour in canoe kayak where you can go and compete. So that's why people change, because the second number in the country goes somewhere, and he is able to compete at the world championship and also win the medal. So that's normal. I think it's good.
Yeah. That's a fascinating world. The more I learn about the canoe kayak world, the more I'm interested by it, especially the racing. I want to get in a C4 and try that. That looks like the craziest fun.
Yes.
We should take a C4 out in the surf sometime. That'd be really fun.
We will take Tommy, Larry, no problem. We have a Jimmy. Hey, we can manage even bigger. We have actually Hey, you know Sebastian Brandel and Jan Wandre, actually.
Of course, yeah.
I've been in Potsdam, I've been in their city town, and Germany is the last country who still have at the national club championship C9. I really have pictures. I will send you after. Yeah, it's 8 people paddling.
In sprint canoe?
Yes, but it's not on the international level, it's on the German championship. C8 or C9 but it's 8 guys paddling and 1 is steering.
All right, you got to send me a photo of that. That sounds insane.
Yes.
Let's do it. We can enter the Yukon River Quest with 8 of us in a sprint canoe. We can sprint for 3 days straight, man. What do you think?
Yes, I watched actually your movie, and that's really I would love to see that. I'm not sure if I can, but that's really interesting.
I think you'd like it because it's the complete opposite of what you competed in. You know, you go from sprint to extreme marathon. It's really an interesting mental challenge.
Yeah, maybe for the first step, some 11 city tour, maybe.
Yeah. Take some baby steps, I think, is smart. I did a few 11 cities before I jumped into the Yukon. Well, maybe we'll see you at the 11 cities this year. Hopefully that event actually happens. Could be the first race of the season, the way we're going.
Yes, I hope so.
Well, man, we've gone way past the hour mark, but I didn't want to stop because I was having too much fun learning about your Olympic career. It was a pleasure to chat with you, and I got to say a special thank you because you joined Club Sup Racer the other day. So thanks, man.
Yes, with the pleasure. Thank you, Chris. Yes, you are doing amazing job. I'm listening your Paddlecast much more than now Joe Rogan cast. And the things that the stand-up paddle community have the canoe guys, and to listen them at your Paddlecast, that's absolutely the newest thing for the canoe sprint community as well. Like for me to listen Jim, to listen Larry, to listen Tommy, that's really amazing. Thank you for both of these things, for the stand-up you do, for the canoe sprint you do, for all of us. That means a lot to me to be at your show. Thank you so much.
Man, it was my pleasure. Thanks for joining. We'll let you get some sleep over there because you got to start training in about 6 hours time over there in China.
Yeah.
So good luck with that, man, and we'll catch up with you soon, eh?
Yes. Thank you, brother. Thank you. All the best.